I'm Pedro, a corn farmer, and I never thought I'd end up in this kind of trouble. I'm 45 and should be proud of my work, but the drought hit hard. My fields turned to dust. I watched my crops die, and I drank more to forget. The cantina became my home, and my worries stayed behind me as I got lost in the bottom of my bottle. One night I stumbled home. The moon hung high in the sky, and shadows stretched across my fields. I felt like I was floating as I walked. That's when I saw him. A figure stood by the edge of my property. I thought it was just my mind playing tricks, but as I got closer, it didn't fade away. It was there, tall and still, like something carved from the night itself. Pedro, the figure called my name in a voice that slithered into my ears. "Who are you?" I croaked. I felt a knot tighten around my throat like a noose, but I brushed it off. "Just the drink," I told myself. "You want your crops back, don't you?" He purred, his words wrapping around me. I knew I shouldn't agree, but I wanted to protect my family. I nodded, and the shadows danced around him. Days later, I woke up to find my fields bursting with corn. It was a miracle. I had never seen such growth. I felt joy, but it was mixed with unease. My neighbors looked at me with envy. My wife stared at me with fear. They must have sensed something was off. I drank to celebrate. I laughed and bragged about my luck. But deep down, my family was falling apart. My wife barely spoke to me. My children whispered, eyes wide as they looked at me. I felt their fear like it was a blanket suffocating me, but I didn't care. I wanted to drink and forget. Still, I heard them say it. He made a deal with the devil. Then that figure returned on a dark night. I didn't want to see him again. My stomach twisted, and dread washed over me. I knew something was wrong, but it was hard to admit. "Why are you so afraid?" he asked, standing at the entrance of my field. The moonlight cut through him like a blade, but he didn't seem to notice. "What have I done?" I mumbled, my hands shaking. "Your success costs you more than you think," he replied, his tone smooth. His words sliced through me. I stared at my corn, thick and full. The stalks felt alive, but not in a good way. Something gnawed at my insides. The whispers of my family echoed louder in my mind. I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask him to undo it all, whatever he had done, but I just stood there frozen in my fear. Shadows swirled around us, growing darker. Was it too late? I felt like I was losing my grip on the ground beneath me, and as he smiled, I knew I was trapped between the night and my choices. Would I ever escape? I didn't know. Only the shadows held the answer. I stood in the field, the moon hanging over my head, a watchful eye casting long shadows. The figure moved closer, and I could see his smile now, a wicked twist that made my skin crawl. I took a step back, shaking my head, but my body wouldn't listen. "Pedro," he said as if savoring my name. "You should be grateful. Look at your harvest." I wanted to scream, to throw my hands up and demand answers, but my mouth felt glued shut. Those stalks, heavy with corn, loomed over me like soldiers ready for battle. The image of my family flashed in my mind, my wife's worried gaze, my children's hushed whispers. I had become a stranger to them, and the thought crushed me. "Do you see them?" he asked, his voice wrapping around me again. "Your neighbors? They hate you for it. They are starving while you feast. Their jealousy can turn nasty." He was right. I had heard the whispers, felt the stares. I thought I was winning, but was I? A cold shiver danced down my spine. "What do you want from me?" I finally managed to choke out. He chuckled softly, the sound echoing in the empty night. "Everything comes at a price, Pedro. You wanted your crops back, but did you consider what you might lose? Your soul? Your family?" His words sank into my heart like nails. I wanted to run, to escape this nightmare, but the ground felt like quicksand. "I can make it all better," he continued, his eyes glinting like shards of glass. "Just accept your fate." My breath quickened. This felt like a trap. I glanced at the corn, vast and overwhelming. Each stalk seemed to whisper my name. I needed to decide. Then, as if sensing my indecision, darkness settled heavily in the air. One moment, there were stars, and the next, they vanished. Panic filled me, pulling at every corner of my being. I turned my back on the figure stumbling toward my house. That's when I heard it. A low, rumbling growl, deep and menacing, rising from my fields. What was happening? I turned, but the figure had vanished, leaving only the thick whisper of the corn and the strange sound that seemed to grow closer. My heart raced, and I forced myself to take one step after the other until I reached the door of my home. Inside, I found my wife staring out the window, face pale with fear. "Pedro," she whispered, eyes wide. "The children, they've gone missing." Panic gripped me like a vice. I darted outside, calling for them, my voice echoing into the night. But there was no answer. Then everything went dark. I stumbled through the door, my heart pounding in my chest. The darkness swallowed me as I stepped into the yard. The moonlight hardly a comfort now. My mind raced. Where could they have gone? The growling noise lingered, low and disturbing. I strained to hear anything. Was it a trick of the wind, or something more sinister? I called out again, "Ana, Miguel, Sofia." Silence was my only answer. With dread pooling in my stomach, I moved toward the fields. Each step felt heavier than the last. The cornstalks loomed tall, casting distorted shadows under the faint light. I hesitated, glancing back at my house. I could turn back, try to figure it out with Anna. But what if they were out there? What if they needed help? I took a deep breath and pressed on, pushing through the corn. Panic threatened to consume me, but I couldn't let fear win. I needed to find them. As I entered the sea of green, the growling grew louder, almost vibrating under my skin. It felt like a heartbeat, insistent and alive. I could barely see a few feet in front of me, but I kept moving forward, hoping to catch a glimpse of my children. "Where are you?" The words escaped my lips, raw with desperation. Then something caught my eye, a flicker of movement in the shadows darting between the stalks. "Miguel," I called, but the figure vanished. My heart took off again. "Sofia?" I pushed deeper into the field, barely breathing, my mind racing. That figure I had met before flashed through my thoughts. Had he done this? Was this part of his game? The fear gnawed at me with a primal intensity. Suddenly, the ground from beneath me shifted. I stumbled, falling onto the damp earth. The growl turned into a roar, and I froze in sheer terror. I scrambled to my feet. That's when I saw it. A massive shape moved through the corn, its eyes glowing like burning coals. Fear gripped me. It was not just a threat. It was alive with purpose. My children's faces flickered in my mind again, and I felt a surge of anger. I couldn't let whatever that was keep them. I took a step forward, fueled by desperation. "Get away from them," I yelled, though my voice shook. The creature paused, its heavy breath echoing eerily in the silence. My legs trembled, but I couldn't back down. In that moment, something strange happened. I felt a surge of energy, a force pulling me toward the creature. "What do you want?" I screamed into the shadows, my heart racing. But the darkness only deepened, and I couldn't shake the feeling that answers were close, yet out of reach. Suddenly, a low voice broke through the chaos. "You know what you must do, Pedro." My breath caught in my throat. The figure was back, this time standing next to the creature, both waiting for my next move. I was trapped between the devil and my children. My body felt frozen, caught between fear and fury. I stared at the creature, its glowing eyes searching mine. The figure beside it remained shrouded in shadows, but I could sense its smirk. "What do you mean?" My voice was barely a whisper, but I forced it out. I needed answers. What do I have to do? The creature stepped forward, its massive form rippling through the corn. Panic flooded my veins. I couldn't run now, not while my children might be in danger, somewhere in the darkness. They needed me. Your deal is simple, the figure said, leaning closer until I could make out the sharp lines of its face. You either make a choice or lose everything. I swallowed hard. The threat radiating off the creature felt palpable, but there was a flicker of something else, an opportunity. My mind raced as I grappled with both fear and a wild hope. What kind of choice? I demanded, forcing strength into my voice. The figure chuckled, a low, sinister sound. Bring me one of them, and I will let the others go. They're close, Pedro. I can show you. My stomach twisted. This was madness. You want one of my children? The figure nodded, its eyes now glowing brighter. One for the lives of the others. A fair trade. How could I even consider it? My heart ached at the thought of giving up one of them. But what choice did I really have? As if sensing my turmoil, the creature growled, shaking the earth beneath me. Choose! It thundered, the sound rippling through the field. I felt the force of it tugging at me, tugging at the edges of my sanity. My thoughts raced. I needed to find Miguel and Sofia. I had to find them before this game spiraled out of control. I turned quickly, searching the field, desperate. Show me, I cried, my voice breaking. Show me where they are. The figure moved closer, the shadows deepening around me. You must act fast. The longer you wait, the more I take. With a jolt of resolve, I sprinted into the corn, pushing past the thick leaves. Every rustle sounded like a whisper teasing me. Where were they? Panic clawed at my throat. I didn't know how much time I had. Then I heard it. A soft whimper. My heart leaped. I turned sharply, following the sound. Miguel, Sofia. I broke through a wall of corn and found them. They huddled together, both wide-eyed with fear. Relief washed over me as I knelt in front of them. You're okay, thank God. But no sooner had I spoken than the growl came again, closer this time, almost above a whisper. You've made your choice, Pedro. The figure spoke, now looming behind me. You must act now, or the darkness will claim them all. Just then, the creature lunged forward, snapping its jaws dangerously close. In that frantic moment, I realized I was out of time. What would I sacrifice to save my family? The ground shook as I wrestled with the chaotic thoughts in my mind. There was only one chance left. I looked back at the creature, then at my children, knowing I had to make the hardest decision yet. My heart raced as I yelled, I choose. But the words were barely out when the shadows erupted into chaos. Then everything went dark. When I came to, the world felt warped. I lay sprawled on the cool earth. My heart pounded against my ribs. The cornfield stretched around me, but something felt different. The air was thicker, charged, as if the very ground reacted to my last words. Miguel! Sofia! I called, panic rising. My voice seemed distant, swallowed by the darkness. I bolted upright, scanning the field. The shadows were deeper now. Even the moonlight turned timid, casting only the faintest glow. My children were nowhere to be seen. A heartbeat passed. Then I heard it, the sound of laughter. But it was wrong, twisted and cruel. It echoed through the field, sending chills down my spine. Pedro. The voice slithered through the air, mocking. Why so serious? I turned quickly, trying to locate the source of the sound. My breath quickened. Show yourself, I shouted, anger and fear mixing in my chest. I couldn't afford to cower, not now. From the dark emerged the figure, the same one that had spoken to me before. Its grin widened, and I felt the cold sweat trickle down my back. You wanted a choice. You made one, didn't you? Desperation clawed at me. Where are my kids? I demanded, stepping forward. The corn waved suddenly, a mockery of my fear. What have you done? The figure tilted its head, studying me. Nothing yet, dear Pedro. But you have to understand, the choice you make influences everything. The shadows can be so much fun, if you let them. Instantly the ground trembled again, and from the depths of the darkness, I sensed movement. The creature that lurked before was nearby, hungry. My instincts screamed at me to run. Don't hurt them, please. My voice cracked. No promises can be made. The figure shrugged, its smile unwavering. You'll have to give me what I desire first. My heart raced. You want my children? What else could you possibly want from a farmer like me? It cackled. You have something much more valuable, your choice, your will. Are you ready to give that up? Before I could respond, the air thickened around me. I heard another sound, distant but unmistakable, the cries of my children. Their voices echoed like shattered glass, filling the air with cries that twisted my gut. Miguel, Sophia! I roared into the darkness, fear clawing at my throat. Such spirit, but it won't save you. The figure approached, its eyes burning like coals. Make your choice, Pedro. Just one life for the others. In that moment, something shifted within me. I could feel the weight of my decision pressing down, suffocating. Could I really bring myself to sacrifice one for the sake of the others? How could I even choose between them? Time is slipping away. The figure smiled wider, as if savoring every breath I took. They're suffering. You have the power to stop it. I trembled with uncertainty, but in my heart I knew I would do anything to save them. Suddenly, resolution washed over me. No, I won't trade one for the others. I'll fight to keep them all. The figure's laughter erupted, echoing through the field. Ah, but you don't understand yet, Pedro. In this game, you don't get to say no. And just like that, the shadows around me began to swirl, a dark storm brewing. My choice had awakened something far greater than I could comprehend. I took a step back, heart racing. Where were my children? I had to find them before it was too late. But the shadows were closing in. Something was coming. I stumbled backward, fear creeping into my veins like ice. The laughing voice faded for a moment, replaced by the desperate cries of Miguel and Sophia. I glanced around, fighting the feeling of being cornered by the darkness. I needed a plan. The corn plants loomed high, whispering to one another in the wind. They seemed to pulse alive, hiding secrets among their shadows. I could feel their sharp edges closing in. My instincts told me to run, but I forced myself to stay put. I had to listen. Please, where are they? I shouted, my voice echoing awkwardly in the stillness. You said nothing has happened to them. Tell me what you want. The figure lingered, weaving between the stalks like a spectre. Oh, Pedro, so eager to bargain. Its voice was honeyed, dripping with mock sincerity. Your choice has brought them to me. They are precious pawns in this game. A chill ran through me. Pawns? What was happening? Was this really real? I clenched my jaw, my mind racing. I will not play your game, they're my children. The figure chuckled, a sound filled with malice. You misunderstand. You're already playing. It's simple. Sacrifice one life to save the others, or face the consequence of losing them all. As if summoned by his words, the shadows writhed and shifted. I peered deeper into the field, and through the dim light saw something moving behind the corn. A dark shape. I squinted, but my breath caught in my throat as the figure pointed, a cruel smile twisting its face. See, your lovely children, so close, yet so far. Let them go, I screamed, taking a step toward the darkness. The figure simply laughed, the sound echoing like stones skipping across water. Fear surged in me, but part of me felt anger, a blazing desire to rescue my kids. Answer me, Pedro. Are you willing to sacrifice one life for the rest? Shadows coiled around me, and I could almost feel warm breath on my neck. The cries of my children blended into a haunting song. Each note felt like a knife, twisting in my gut. I shook my head, refusing to give in. Then tell me what to do. I shouted, my voice cracking. "Give me a way out of this." The figure's eyes flashed, and there was a moment of stillness. "You are not as foolish as I thought." "Very well." Suddenly, a chorus of whispers filled the air. I turned, trying to make sense of the words that wrapped around me like a noose. "You must find the heart of the field. It holds the truth. Only, there can you save them." Before I could question it, the darkness surged forward, the laughter of the figure fading into wild chaos. I had no choice but to run, heart pounding in my ears. The cries of Miguel and Sofia guided me, driving me deeper into the cornfield. Each step felt heavier as the shadows clung to my heels. Where was this heart? Then everything went dark. The moonlight vanished, swallowed by a thick veil of shadow. It snuffed out the last of my hope for light. I stumbled, falling to my knees, panic clawing at my throat. "Someone is here," I breathed, sensing another presence nearby. My heart raced. They were real. My children were real. I gathered my breath and fought through the darkness. I needed to find them before it was too late. I pushed myself to my feet, the chilled ground scraping against my palms. "Miguel! Sofia!" I called again, willing my voice to carry. The cries felt distant now, muffled and distorted, as if they were trapped miles away. I had no idea if I was moving closer or further from them. The air shifted around me, thickening with unease. I could feel the eyes of the shadows watching. I took a shaky step forward, scanning for any sign of my children amidst the rows of corn. Each plant brushed against me like skeletal fingers, and I shivered, trying to shake off the creeping dread that threatened to consume my thoughts. I remembered the figure's words. The heart of the field. What did that mean? I couldn't waste time guessing. I had to move. I stumbled forward, my foot catching on an unseen root. I fell, but quickly caught myself on a stalk. Gritting my teeth, I pressed on, my heart a drum in my chest. I noticed the whispers again, more urgent this time, as if the corn itself was alive and guiding me. I concentrated and followed the sound, hoping it would lead me to the heart I sought. Suddenly, I burst into a small clearing. Moonlight ignited the space, casting an otherworldly glow. In the center, there was an old stone well, covered in vines and dirt, as if forgotten by time. The whispers intensified, swirling around me like a tempest. This was it, the heart. "What do I do?" I shouted into the night, desperation spilling from my lips. As if in answer, the wind whipped through the clearing, pushing me toward the well. My hands trembled as I reached out to grab the stones. Leaning over the edge, I peered into the depths. The darkness below was thick and unyielding, but I caught a whisper of movement. Something was down there. "Pedro!" A voice rang out, Miguel's voice. My heart soared, followed quickly by panic. "Miguel, I'm coming." With a sudden resolve, I began climbing over the ledge, my fingers gripping the cold stones as I leaned further in. Miguel grabbed my hand. But just as I prepared to reach into the abyss, a shadow shot from the darkness, snaking up the stones. My eyes widened in terror as the figure from before materialized, blocking my view. Its grin was wide and menacing, and I could feel its malevolence wrap around my throat like a noose. "You shouldn't have come here, Pedro," it hissed. "Are you ready to make your sacrifice?" "No," I cried, backing away, but it was too late. The darkness behind me thickened, and I felt its tendrils closing in. "I won't lose them." "Then you better make a choice," it taunted. "Time is running out. One must fall." Panic surged in me, and I realized something crucial was about to slip away. I had to act now. Suddenly, the whispers morphed into cries of urgency, begging me to choose. Then everything fell silent. The only sound was my own ragged breath and the sinister laughter of the figure. I could feel the weight of the choice pressing down on me, suffocating. That's when I saw it, the faint glow at the bottom of the well, pulsing like a heartbeat. I squinted into the well, the glow drawing me closer, despite the threat hovering above. "Miguel!" I shouted again, heart racing. "I won't abandon you!" The figure laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers down my spine. Instead of stepping back, I took a deep breath and leaned further into the well. "Tell me what to do," I yelled, hoping my voice would echo down, hoping it might reach my son. The glow pulsed again, brighter this time. I blinked hard, and for a moment I thought I saw a face flash beneath the surface, a face that looked like Miguel. A surge of hope filled my chest, but it was quickly smothered by fear. Was that really him, or was it a trick of the darkness? "Your son cannot be saved without sacrifice," the figure hissed, inching closer. "Choose wisely, Pedro. One must pay the price." Its eyes burned with wicked delight, awaiting my decision. The whispers returned, swirling around me, urging me to look down again. I focused, my heart pounding as the glowing light shifted, revealing a path below. It was covered in vines, but a sense of urgency pulled me toward it. It felt like a gateway, one that promised answers, or perhaps doom. I glanced back at the figure, its shadow creeping closer, and I felt a surge of defiance. "I'll do whatever it takes," I shouted, conviction coursing through me. With one final deep breath, I set my hands firmly on the edge of the well, feeling the rough stones beneath my fingers. The grip of the shadows around me tightened, but I forced myself to look down again. "Miguel, please answer me." "I'm here, Papa." Miguel's voice was faint, but filled with unmistakable determination. "I need you. Just let me go, please." "No," I shouted back almost instinctively. I wouldn't leave him behind. A flicker of rage burst within me. "I'll find you." I turned my gaze back to the well's depths. The glow pulsed again, and I suddenly understood. "I have to give something of my own," I whispered. "That's the sacrifice." The figure grinned wider, as if my realization thrilled it. "Now you're getting it. Make your choice, Pedro. Will it be your freedom or your son's?" The weight of my decision crashed over me, but the thought of losing Miguel shattered everything else. I looked around frantically. There had to be something I could give, something to trade for my son. That's when I remembered the necklace I had worn for years, a gift from my mother. I fished it out from under my shirt, its cold metal glinting in the dim light. "This," I said, surprised at my resolve. "This is what I'll give." As I leaned over the edge again, the figure lunged, trying to grab my arm. I jerked back, adrenaline pumping. "Miguel, hold on," I warned. The glow darkened momentarily like a heartbeat pausing, and I took a breath, focusing on my resolve. "I can't let you go." Suddenly, the well trembled beneath me, the air thickening with heat and energy. "You've chosen," the figure snarled, and then everything went black. I felt a weight on my chest and a rush of wind as the darkness closed in around me. "No," I screamed, but the echo of my voice faded into the void. Then, the ground shuddered again, and I sensed movement below. I struggled, fighting against the encroaching shadows. "What have I done?" I thought desperately as the well began to close above me. But then, through the blackness, I thought I heard Miguel's voice again, clearer this time, and it sent chills through me as forever echoed in my mind. "Papa, don't give up." I opened my eyes, feeling a strange warmth wrapping around me. The darkness lifted, but I was no longer at the well. I sat in a field illuminated by a shimmering light, surrounded by fluffy clouds almost like heaven. But the air was thick with an unsettling tension. "Miguel," I shouted, my voice cutting through the silence. The ground beneath me seemed alive, pulsing with energy. The lush grass tickled my fingers, and the distant sound of a stream calmed my racing heart. But there was no sign of my son. In the horizon, a figure appeared, silhouetted against the soft glow. As it moved closer, my heart sank. It was him, the figure from the well, closer now and more twisted than I remembered, a cruel grin stretching across its face. "Welcome to your new reality, Pedro. You've made quite the sacrifice." "What have you done?" I stepped back, panic creeping in. "Where's Miguel?" The figure raised its hand, palm up. In its grasp lay a bright orb of light. "This is what you've gained. But oh, it comes at a cost." My thoughts raced. "What do you mean? I didn't ask for any of this." "Ah, but you did," it replied, that mocking tone lacing its words. "In the depths of your desperation, you chose to give. You thought it was a necklace, but your true sacrifice is far greater. What do you want from me?" I shook my head, trying to clear my mind. Just behind the figure I could see shadows shifting, dark shapes that whispered promises and warning all at once. "I'll do anything to save him." The figure laughed, a sound that churned my stomach. "But can you bear the price? Only one can be saved. Freedom for you or life for your son. A simple choice, wouldn't you say?" "No, that's not fair." My hands balled into fists, frustration boiling over. I didn't want any of this. I just wanted Miguel. The figure tilted its head, eyes glinting with twisted amusement. Desire and desperation often lead to unexpected outcomes. Don't you see? The choice is yours and time is of the essence. Suddenly the light in its hand grew brighter. I felt heat radiate from it, and a rush of air pressed against me. "Choose now, Pedro. Your son remains in limbo, and your freedom slips away with every passing second." I took a step forward, my heart racing. "Miguel," I called again, but my voice echoed hollowly across the vast field. What if this was all a trick, a cruel game? My thoughts spiraled. Then something beneath the ground began to stir. A shadow shifted, growing larger, creeping closer. Panic surged. "What's happening?" "Time waits for no one, Pedro," the figure taunted. "Make your choice." My heart raced as I looked from the light to the shadows. I could feel Miguel's presence stirring beneath the surface, longing for me, reaching out. "I will not abandon you," I shouted defiantly, but doubt clawed at my insides. That's when I saw it, the earth cracking, wisps of dark energy rising like smoke. "Please," I begged, desperation spilling out. "Just give me a chance. Let me save him." The figure's laughter rang out, harsh and empty. "Time is a cruel mistress, Pedro. You must act before the darkness consumes what you hold dear." As the shadows grew closer, I realized I had a choice to make. Would I gamble everything for a chance to save my son? Or accept defeat? Then, whispering in the wind, I heard Miguel again, his voice stronger this time. "Papa, don't give up. Fight for me." With the echo urging me on, I cast a desperate glance at the figure, challenging it with newfound resolve. "I'm not afraid of what's to come. I'll find a way." The ground trembled beneath me, and as the shadows lunged forward, I felt clarity sharpen my focus. I was ready to confront whatever lay ahead. The figure smirked. "Then let's see how far you're willing to go." And with that, I felt the earth shift beneath us, ushering in something I had not anticipated. I blinked hard as the world around me twisted and jerked, like a dream unraveling at the edges. The shadows writhed, their grip on me weakening in the wake of my newfound determination. I stood in a realm where ethereal light battled the dark. The air felt electric, alive. "Miguel," I shouted again, louder this time, the desperation etching lines into my voice. Instead of wallowing in despair, I turned my thoughts inward, recalling each heartbeat, each laugh, and every moment shared with my children. That love surged through me, pushing the shadows back. The figure glared, its twisted smile faltering, and for the first time I saw a flicker of hesitation in its eyes. "You think mere feelings can save you?" It hissed, its voice now strained. "I won't allow you to take my son," I declared, feeling strength pulse within me like a tidal wave. "I'll face whatever it takes." The shadows recoiled slightly, but I could sense they were not gone. They merely awaited the right moment to strike again. The figure lunged, but I was ready. "You won't control me," I shouted, feeling a surge of energy as I conjured all the warmth and love I felt for my family. As the figure and darkness surged toward me, the ground trembled beneath my feet once more. I could feel something stirring from its depths. It was Miguel's essence, reaching out through the darkness, connecting with my determination. The energy intensified, and the shadows shuddered, halting their advance. Now is my chance. I leaped forward, arms wide, calling out to whatever force lay below. Let my love guide us. I choose light over darkness. In response, the world tilted again, shadows roiling in a storm. The ground split open, revealing a radiant glow, golden and pure, pouring up like vibrant dawn. It felt alive, and in that moment, clarity washed over me. The shadows shrieked as the glow enveloped me, wrapping around my heart like a protective shield. "Miguel, Sophia," I called, calling them back to me, anchoring ourselves to the light. The darkness howled, fraying at the edges, and for one brief moment I felt the presence of my children beside me. They were close. I could feel their warmth and laughter, thinly veiled but strong. With one final pulse, I pushed against the darkness with everything I had. The shadows recoiled, twisting desperately, the figure's grasp fading. "No, you cannot choose them over me," it screeched, the power in its voice faltering. "You're wrong," I cried, surrendering to the light. "This is my choice." With a final surge, I unleashed my will. The shadows exploded into a cacophony of darkness, and the figure let out an anguished howl as it dissipated, swallowed by the very light it had sought to extinguish. Then came silence. Blissful, serene silence. I fell to my knees on the grass, panting, feeling the warmth of the radiant glow still enveloping me. "Miguel, Sophia?" My voice trembled as reality settled back around me. Slowly, the brightness began to fade, but through the haze I saw forms starting to materialize. Two shadows, small and familiar, stepped forward. "Miguel, Sophia!" I cried, scrambling to my feet. There they were, wrapped in my embrace. Their laughter rang in the air, sweet relief washing over me, a balm to the wounds I had endured. But as I held them close, I noticed the shadows began to reclaim the edges of the field, creeping back into the corners of my mind. Was the danger truly gone, or merely lying in wait? "What happened, Papa?" Miguel asked, eyes wide with wonder but also confusion. "We escaped," I whispered, a knot tightening in my chest while the uncertainty flickered like the fading glow. But deep down, I knew the truth was more complicated. The harvest might have returned. My family was safe. Yet a haunting thought lingered. Did I truly win against the darkness, or had I merely tamed it, coaxed it into retreat? I glanced back at the fields, and for a moment I thought I saw a glimmer of that figure weaving back into the dark, waiting. I shook my head, forcing the panic down, but knowing the shadows would always wait, watching, biding their time. As we headed home, I took a deep breath of the warm, sweet-scented air. I moved forward, my heart comforted by the laughter of my children, but the lingering thought remained. Was this a victory, or just a reprieve in the unending battle against the shadows? Could I protect them forever? I would never know. I could only hope. I think about it sometimes, how quickly the night can switch today, how fragile happiness can be, and how each of us must navigate our own fields of corn, whether we come across ghosts or just the shadows of our choices. But mostly, I try not to think too hard about it.